your grandmama,
My grandmother was
full-blooded Cherokee Indian.
And my grandfather on my mother's side was full-blood Blackfoot.
Well, what about your daddy? What about him?
My daddy was half black
and half white.
His daddy.
He was white. Your daddy was black. Oh Lord.
My granddaddy was half white and half black. His father was a slave master.
So that was your great-grandfather.
That was my great-grandfather, was a slave master.
So wait a minute, slow up. So your great-grandfather, because you said your grandmother was a full-blooded Indian.
That's right.
Which means your great-grandmother was a full-blooded Cherokee.
No.
What?
My
that was on your mama's side.
On my daddy's side, my grandfather, which was half black and half white, married a full-blood Cherokee. That was my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And on my mama's side, her daddy was full-blood Blackfoot. And her mother was black.
Her mother was black?
Mm-hmm.
African? What kind of African?
All Africans come from the east coast of Africa, which means around Liberia and in that area. Now, what tribe, nobody knows what tribe they were from, because the slave master is the one who destroyed their identity. He would let them talk in their own language. He would let them talk about their heritage to their children when their children were born.
Back to your daddy. So your daddy, I knew he looked white. I knew it.
My daddy wasn't white.
Then you said your daddy was a half white, half black.
No, I said my grandfather.
Well, what about your daddy?
My daddy was half Indian and half whatever my grandfather was.
Oh.
The European side came from Galloway, Ireland. They're Irish.
Good gracious, we just a mud. I'm a mud duck.
All blacks
it's better
like
be
that.
a mud duck than be no duck.
That's the way a lot of blacks are, honey. They all mixed.
Yeah. Most blacks had
nothing
to do
unusual
with what they are because the slave master messed it up.
We know
Some
that.
blacks don't even know where they come from because of the slave master. When they sold them, their name was changed.
I wonder what our name. Do you know what our name was before the slave master changed it?
We don't know.
We don't know
Dang.
Nobody knows. They don't have records of it. Very few blacks have records. They didn't keep records of where they come from because they wanted them to lose their identity so they would not run away.
Some of them have gone back though, and they found it.
But
some have gone back and
they
found
can
it,
trace
but they
it
have
back.
most of them is not accurate.
Didn't Aunt Linda trace it back to where we were traded?
That was her husband. Did that.
Well, Uncle Dave,
No,
did he
it's
trace
hard.
it?
They didn't keep records of that. They didn't want records of it because they didn't want us to know where we come from. When they picked up slaves, most of them came from the area of Liberia. And when they brought them over here, they scattered them. Most of them came in through North Carolina.
Yeah.
And then from North Carolina, they were sold, and then they migrated south, north, east, whatever way they went. They didn't do it on their own. Who bought them is the one who brought them to different parts of the country.
Mama had a lot of white in her family.
Who, your mama?
Her daddy.
My mama's mama.
Her
My mama's
white.
daddy.
Her granddaddy was white. Your granddaddy was white.
Cause her brother was white.
Wait a minute. Your granddaddy was white?
I don't know. No.
No, her grandmother's daddy.
That's why that doctor told you that you got a white woman bones, didn't he? You got bones like a white woman. Didn't he tell you that, Mama? Mama!
I'm trying to think. Well, you said my grandmother's daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Which was Mama daddy.
I know that.
They came from
How daddy know your history? You don't know.
You don't know.
out from Hamilton, Alabama, that country area right out west of Hamilton, Alabama. That's where they come from. I forget the name of that little area.
Bexer.
Baxter.
Bexer.
Child, I am so confused.
You don't need to be confused.
All
You
of
Heinz 59 kind.
all of us mixed up, honey.
And you know, when I go live and people ask me, they like, are you Indian? I'm child, I'm everything. I'm mixed with everything. Black, Indian, white.
I've always tried to give you all identity where your ancestors come from, but you all hadn't been interested in it.
No, I'm just saying, like, when I see people from other countries, like they be from Liberia or Russia or Germany, and they be mixed with one thing. Because I talk to a lot of people.
You think they're mixed with one?
No, they tell me that. Like this one lady, she sent me the costumes from her culture. Beautiful costume. What do we have? We have nothing.
We do.
What costume?
We traced on the white side. We traced it back to Cogalloway, Ireland. We
Stop
found
all that
out
bouncing,
what the crest was. We knew they wore kilts, things like this. The men did. On the Indian side, that's traced back. Came from Oklahoma.
Oh, did it? I didn't know that.
My grandmother came here on the Trail of Tears. That's how she got to Alabama.
So what reservation was she from? Like, do you know the name? Y'all don't know that, do you?
At that time, they didn't have the reservations.
I didn't know it was Oklahoma.
Indians were nomads.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reservations for them at that time. The reason why they moved them from Oklahoma, they was moving them to Florida. A lot of them settled in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the Lookout Mountains, I say Lookout Mountains, I'm talking about the Smoky Mountains, up at just north of Chattanooga, 100 miles north of Chattanooga, Knoxville. Right out from Knoxville is the Cherokee village, about 40 miles away from Knoxville. They have a whole Cherokee community there. And as a result of that, that's where they moved them from. A lot of them, from when they left Oklahoma, they sent them up there.
How come we can't prove how much Indian was in us so we could get like scholarships to go to school free and stuff like that?
Well, a lot of this stuff was not documented. It's down by word of mouth. Now, the old old family Bible had it in it. But I don't know who got the old family Bible. He had 9 children. And I don't know who got the family Bible.
What do you mean, Papa? Your granddaddy?
My granddaddy.
Stop there.
Wow.
And without documentation, you got to prove it. Now, all the people that knew about it
They
is
did.
dead. I'm the last one that can give you some history on it. Now, back here about 20-something years ago, we put out a small pamphlet, a booklet, that dealt with our genealogy and where we come from and all that. I don't know where that's at now. I don't know who got a copy of it.
I don't. I wonder, maybe somebody have it. I don't know.
People didn't value it back then. You know, it's just been in recent years that people want to know about where they come from.
Yeah, because we all
Like
scattered
Sylvia,
everywhere.
For example. It was just in recent years that Sylvia wanted to know about her ancestry. That's how she found me.
Well, no, she
No,
didn't
it
want to know
wasn't.
her whole life,
No, it
Dad.
wasn't.
Well, it was her son.
Daddy,
was
she,
doing a research paper.
yeah, but she been wanting to know her whole life. Ever since she was a little
Well, she
girl, she
wanted
had
to know.
questions.
But she never took the time to really do the
Yes, she
research.
did. Yes, she did.
Well, she did the research with her son.
She did as
and
much
they
as he
found it.
could. Like she tried. She did. I ain't gonna do it like that. Like she did try.
Well, she tried,
But
but
you know, technology is different
Right.
now.
That's what I'm telling you.
And so that's
Her
how she
son
was able
is
to
the
find
one who
out.
helped her to find it.
Wow.
Well, that is just like Steve. That was always that yearning in the heart that to find out.
He talked to Steve the other night.